You ever look at the world of data science and AI and just feel kind of lost? Yeah, you're not alone. It's a common feeling. So today, we're going to clear all that fog away. We're laying out a clear, step-by-step path that takes you from a total beginner all the way to a pro. And we'll use a real curriculum as our roadmap to see exactly how these skills build on each other, one logical step at a time. So, let's just jump right into the big question, right? How do you go from a beginner to a data science pro? Look, the journey isn't about learning a few random tools here and there. Nope, it's all about following a structured path where every single skill you learn builds logically on the one that came before it. And that is the exact map we're going to draw for you today. All right, first up, the data science launchpad. Every huge journey has a first step, and in data science, that first step is all about mastering your fundamental tools. This is the ground floor, the solid foundation you're going to build everything else on top of. Okay, so this launchpad, it's really built on two giant pillars. First, you've got to learn the language. And in the world of data, that language is Python. It is the go-to for pretty much everything we're going to talk about. But, knowing the language is only half the battle. You still have to actually get the data. And that's where SQL comes in. Just think of it as the master key that can unlock just about any database out there. So yeah, the whole journey kicks off with these two skills. You start with Python to really build up that problem-solving muscle. Then you jump into SQL. And the logic here is super simple, right? You can't analyze data if you can't even get your hands on it. That's why mastering both from the get-go is absolutely crucial. Okay, so you can speak the language. You can get the data. What's next? It's time to build out your toolkit. I like to think of this stage as becoming a true craftsperson. You're learning how to take that raw, messy, often chaotic data and actually shape it into something structured, something valuable. And in this toolkit, there are three absolutely essential instruments. First up, you've got NumPy for handling all the numbers and arrays super efficiently. Then comes Pandas, which is honestly a total game changer for organizing data into neat tables. We call them data frames. And last but definitely not least, and this is the one people always underestimate, is data cleaning. This is the nitty-gritty work of turning messy, real-world data into pure gold. So, you've built this foundational toolkit. Now it's time to put it to the test. Your first major test, in fact. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you move from just learning about stuff to actually doing it. And this first milestone project, it's not just a quiz on one little thing. No way. It's designed to make you use everything you've learned up to this point. You're going to have to pull together your Python, your SQL, your NumPy, and your Pandas skills, all to solve one real-world problem. This is the point where it all clicks, and that knowledge really starts to stick. All right, you've proven you can handle the data. Now for the really fun part, turning that data into a story. Once you have clean, structured data, you get to graduate from being a data technician to being a data detective. This phase is all about finding the narratives hidden inside the numbers. And there's a pretty clear flow to this process. You start by just exploring the data. We call it exploratory data analysis, or EDA for short. You're basically just poking around, looking for patterns and trends. Then you bring in some statistical methods to add some real rigor to what you're seeing. And finally, you bring it all to life. You tell that story using awesome visuals, like charts and dashboards. So what exactly is EDA? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's that initial investigation. It's you playing detective, asking all the questions like, what's going on here? Or, does anything look weird? It's the curious, creative side of data analysis. Now, mastering this art of data storytelling brings you to your next big challenge. This one's a real deep dive, and it's going to test all of your analytical skills. For your second milestone project, you're doing a full-blown deep dive analysis. We're talking taking a raw data set from its messy state all the way to a finished story. You'll have to combine everything, the cleaning, the exploration, the statistics, and the visualization, all to present a compelling narrative that's backed up by hard evidence. So, with a complete data analysis skill set under your belt, you're now ready to step into what is, let's be honest, the most exciting part of all, the AI realm. This is where you shift from just explaining what happened in the past to actually predicting the future by teaching machines how to learn. Getting into artificial intelligence really boils down to two key steps. First, you have to understand the fundamental science behind how machines learn from data. That's your machine learning foundations. From there, you get to explore the actual tools, the predictive models and algorithms that are the engine of modern AI. At the heart of machine learning are two main ideas. With supervised learning, you're essentially giving the machine labeled data, like emails you've already marked as spam, so it can learn to make predictions on new emails. On the flip side, with unsupervised learning, you give it unlabeled data, and the machine's job is to find the hidden patterns on its own, like grouping your customers into different segments you didn't even know existed. And this brings us to the final ascent, the home stretch. You've gathered all the tools, you've mastered the techniques, and you've explored the world of AI. Now it's time to put it all together and prove you've got this. This final stage has 3 key parts. You've got your course exams to make sure you've mastered the concepts from each section, and then a big final exam to test your overall readiness. But the real crown jewel of this whole thing is the Capstone project. The Capstone is a huge deal because it's not just another assignment. Not even close. It's a full end-to-end project where you get to act like a professional data scientist. You'll take a real-world problem from the very beginning, pulling data with SQL, all the way through to building and deploying a machine learning model. After you've conquered all these challenges, you earn the Certificate of Achievement. And believe me, this isn't just a piece of paper. It's validation of your skills. It's proof that strengthens your professional profile and shows employers that you are ready for the job. And it's so important to remember that on a path this rigorous, you're not alone. There's a strong support system of expert instructors, Q&A forums, and a whole community of fellow learners who are there to guide you at every single step. So, there you have it, a complete structured map from beginner to a data science and AI professional. The path is clear, the steps are laid out. The only question left is, what will you build with it?